Joy, you weren't saying enough names.
Hello. MMA, the sport of yesterday, today, and the future. It was July 6th when Anderson Silva, the greatest mixed martial artist in the history of the sport, got knocked out by an up-and-comer named Chris Weidman. Now, when we saw this, we got so excited. We jumped out of our couches and screamed. We didn't know what to do. I almost had a heart attack because this was just such an exciting event. This is one of the many exciting things that takes place in MMA. And I want to talk to you about MMA, the most exciting sport in the world. Today you will learn that mixed martial arts is an honorable sport, it's a skillful discipline, and it's the next big thing in sports. Mixed martial arts has a very distinguished history as a sport. 2,000 years ago, it was in the original Greek Olympic Games from 648 BC to 393 AD. Alexander the Great actually trained his men in this sport. This sport was called pancration. And if you read Christopher Crudelli's Way of the Warrior, you learn that it was a very common sport of the day. This was a sport that combined boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, and submissions. Most of the people who do the sport of MMA come from the background of wrestling, boxing, or karate. Now, because this sport has such a distinguished history, it's also important to know that the sport has distinguished people who practice it. These are people who are hardworking. They train year-round, and they perfect their art. It's not just guys just jumping in a cage and fighting like you would fight at a bar fight. These people train in several different disciplines. They do Olympic-style strength and conditioning programs, and they're very respectful to one another. As a matter of fact, it's very common for each fight to start with a handshake, and many fights end with a hug as well. It's because of its history and its distinguished people as well that MMA is one of the fastest growing sports in the world. According to the UFC Encyclopedia, the UFC in the last 10 years has had explosive growth. As a matter of fact, the UFC has shows all over the world, all over Europe. They're having one in Asia soon. They have them in South America as well, and all over the States too. Their fighters actually have action figures that you can get at your local Walmart or any store. They have major sponsors as well, like Bud Light, Nike, Reebok, and Harley-Davidson. There are also several other MMA organizations all over the world. There's ONE FC in China, there's M1 Fighting in Russia and most of Eastern Europe, there is Vale Tudo in Brazil, and there is Dream in Japan. The international success of MMA makes it very clear. Mixed martial arts is an honorable sport with a distinguished history, a sport with skillful, disciplined athletes, and the next big thing in sports. I encourage you to check out the next big fight that's on TV. You will not regret it, I promise. Thank you very much for your time.